Welcome. I'm Kathy Zerler with Deborah Basham. Thank you for being here with us for restorative gentle yoga. I'd like to start today with a reading from my journal last night that I was actually writing this to myself, but I'm thinking now that it was Kathy. Stay back there. It's more universal than just me. And so I thought I would read it to you all. Know that you are unique. Know that you are unique. Do not accept your bad fate. Fate, F-A-T-E. Do not accept your bad fate. You will endure against all odds with intelligence, compassion, and perseverance. Always remember how to behave, how to speak to people, how to respect the world around you. We are forever connected to all those we've loved and lost, and all those things that we've suffered loss in our circumstances. And so with that, let's start in prayer pose and just take a moment to think about your own uniqueness, what you are good at and what you have to give. Bring up your head, bring your arms up overhead, and let's begin some windmill breathing, sweeping our good energy all around us, extending it to all we love on earth and all we've loved and lost, and every stumbling block that we've gotten over. And there will be more. You are building the skills to make those stumbling blocks into stepping stones. Let's lie down on our backs in rest pose. Roll back your shoulders. And center down. Center down. Breathe slower and deeper. Expand your belly to accept the healing oxygen. Contract your belly on the exhale to expel CO2. Soften some more and roll back your shoulders as we begin to turn our heads from side to side, nice and slow, in a gentle flow, mindfully watching our range of motion as we meet our range of motion on each side and go up to it, but not through it. Come to center and turn your head whatever way you were going and hold it at your range of motion. Encouraging maintenance and maybe even increasing your range of motion. Breathe back to center. Turn the other way. Same thing on this side, knowing that we always do both sides. And we respect where each side is. Come back to center, and they are different. Turn the other way. We're not perfectly symmetrical. We're not robots. Come back to center, last time the other way. Center, bend the knees, bring both knees up, one hand behind each knee. Roll on your back, putting your hands as a cushion behind each knee. Protects our knee joint. So roll around. I like to draw circles with my knees and rock back and forth. And then lift my legs up in the air and happy baby and grab your feet and roll around a little bit more. So the two combined, bringing in the knees and then lifting up the legs and rolling in both positions, helps us to stimulate circulation in most of our spine. We can't get the cervical spine, but we can get everything else with these two rolling releases. And plant your feet, extend one leg, bring the other leg up in the air, and roll back your shoulders. Place your hands on the low belly and use those muscles to point and slowly lower the elevated leg, moving slowly, mindfully. When you get almost to the floor, flex, press through the heel, and lift the leg, using the low core, gaining abdominal strength and endurance. Keep going, pointing down, slowly moving, and when you get almost to the floor, flex the foot and move slowly back up and continue at your own pace. Think juicy thoughts. Motion is lotion. What we're doing is working every part of our body in a gentle, restorative way to make our lives better so that we feel better and we have longevity. The next time you come close to the floor, release that. We have more healthy lives. Bend the other knee. Bring that leg up. Same thing on this side. Controlling it with your low belly. Your hands are here to remind you to contract and hold as you point and lower almost to the floor. And when you get almost to the floor, flex the foot and bring it up. Keep moving at your own pace. Keep breathing, sending healing oxygen in and exhaling CO2. The next time you come close to the mat, no hurry. Release the leg and let everything melt. Let it all go. Notice the energy you've created simply by lifting and lowering the weight of your own legs one at a time and supporting it with your breath and your core. Bring up one arm now, just off the mat, and breathe into the weight of this arm. You have the option here to engage the low belly. The arm is not as heavy as the leg, but if there are some men watching, maybe your arms are heavy and you do need to increase your core strength by squeezing your belly. It's a good idea, whether you really need it or not. Hold it here, and then all at once, drop the arm and let everything go. Lift up the other arm and hold it here. Same thing on this side. And let's do contract the belly, even though the arm for most of us is not very heavy. I was talking to a friend yesterday about cycling and saying that when we ride a bike, we need to ride it with our low core, with our hips, with our glutes, and with our quads. And as improbable as this seems, since these muscles are above our feet and above our knees, using these core muscles protects our knees and our feet when we're doing something like riding a bike. All at once now, let everything go. Just let it go. And breathe. Bend the knees. Bring the knees up close, one hand behind each knee. Release your spine from the exercise of lifting and lowering your legs. We've been weightlifting. This is the rest. When we stress in a lift or any other type of physical stress, and we release with a rest, we encourage healing. Roll around. Legs up in the air, happy baby. Continue stimulating the spine and releasing the stress of weightlifting. We're relaxing into a healing mode. Doing both of those together. And release. Lengthen. Bring both arms up overhead behind you on the floor. And press through the fingers and the toes, making yourself long. Notice the space within your body as we move through this practice from the inside out. We make space between the bones, so imagine space between all the vertebrae. We make space around the organs and the systems, so they can do all of their work with less obstruction, the obstruction that might be caused by bending or crossing our legs or any kind of compression that we apply to our bodies, which we do during our lives, doing our activities, during our work. Bring your arms back. So this good posture right now, lying on your back, legs extended, arms by your sides, is perfect posture. Reclining mountain pose. Let's bend our knees. Turn to one side and use your elbow and the other hand to press yourself up safely to a seated position. And let's extend. I like to sit back so my heels are on my mat, but let's extend into a deep stretch from the center out to the toes. And roll back your shoulders. Rolling the shoulders back helps to contraindicate that C curve of leaning forward that we all do a lot of during every single day. And so this is the antidote for that. This is the straightener, rolling back the shoulders. I must do this a dozen times a day. Feel the stretch now in the inner thighs and go out to your edge, not so you feel like it hurts in any way or even close to hurting, just so that you know you're at your limit. And sit up tall. And now look at your feet, point the toes, and then turn the feet out, so pronate. Notice the stretch increases, it's in a different way. So it's not really increasing, it's really activating different parts of our legs. Sit tall, pull in the belly. Squeeze the hips, squeeze the glutes. Squeeze the thighs, why not? They're right here. Add those to it. This used to be called, in fitness a few decades ago, isometrics. Now we call it a static stretch because we're in it and we're doing something, but we're not moving. Release, notice the release. And now flex your feet, press gently through the heels, and turn your feet in, supinate. Notice the outsides of your legs as you do that. So the IT band, the sartorius muscle, all of those are getting involved. And you're sitting tall, and you're working all parts of your leg. Breathe and hold. Soften. And then bring the soles of your feet together so there's a diamond shape in the space between your legs. And then take your hands and slide them underneath your calves and up to your shins and your feet. And then fold your head forward. This is called clamshell. So imagine, or an oyster shell or a scallop shell. Imagine the hinged shells in the ocean. You are one with every wave in the ocean, every shell, every grain of sand. We are one with the earth and one with each other. Our souls are all connected. Slowly roll up. Think about what you just observed as you folded into this shell position. Straighten up, sit tall. I noticed the outsides of my legs the most. You all might have noticed something a little bit different. Remember that mindfulness means observe yourself like you might witness something. You're in your body, but you are watching what you're doing with your mind's eye. As a witness, you're increasing your ability to observe and to listen to your own body, and that makes us better at observing and listening to other people and animals and plants and every part of the earth. So let's fold in half into the shell again. Slide your hands under the calves and around to your feet and begin to gently go up to your edge. Letting the top of your body relax on top of the space you've created for the bottom of your shell. Slowly roll up. Somehow a turtle image came to my mind. I don't think, roll back your shoulders, there's a turtle pose in yoga. If there is, I don't know it. But you think about the turtle and they live in their shells. Well, we do too. We live in our temples. We live in our bodies, because where else would we live? Where would our mind live? Where would our souls live while we're here on earth? In our bodies. We carry our homes with us, just like a turtle. I'm going to turn to one side now. We're going to do a full body spinal rotation. So come into an L shape in staff pose. So look at your feet and point your feet and roll back your shoulders. And before we do the rotation, let's bring our hands behind us. Clasp your hands and gently sit tall as you bring your arms just a little bit away from your back. As far as it'll go, but not so it ever hurts. Range of motion is just that. It's the limit that you can go in every pose. And we want to go up to it, but not too fast, or we go through it and cause or risk injury. Okay, release and gently fold in half. Slide your hands down your legs toward your feet, no forcing. Hands toward the feet, head in the direction of the knees, and hang out here. Let the top of your body be soft. Soften a little more. And then roll up vertebrae by vertebrae and roll back your shoulders. Bend one knee and bring that foot to the outside of the extended leg. Bring that arm to the inside of that knee and the other arm comes back. So you are now in the position for the full body spinal rotation. So let's go there mindfully, slowly moving in and slowly going up to our edge, and then slowly releasing when it's ready, it's time for us to come out, which can be any time that you think you need to release. So let's look behind us and point the forward foot, twist from the waist a little bit, see where your edge is, lift the chin, arch your back, pull in the belly, and settle in. And notice. Look down a little bit, and when you do if you look down, then you can feel the stretch in this upper side of your neck. So the neck range of motion is pretty important, and we need to continue to have it, especially if we drive a car or like to play golf or tennis or anything that involves perhaps a quick turn of the head. Breathe and hold. Notice and breathe. Notice the static motion from within. We are in the pose, and you're allowed to move. You're allowed to adjust a little bit in every pose. But when we do a static pose, in yoga we call it yin, we hold, we find our place, that sweet spot in the pose, and we hold it. But then if we find out the hold needs an adjustment, then do that. That's important because we are training our bodies to learn how to be more comfortable, safer, more fluid, more flexible, stronger, more stable, more balanced, more grounded, all those good words that we use in yoga. Soften in place now and move a little. Just move like a cat. You know how cats will just kind of move? And they're just sort of subtle about it. And go back to the stretch. Point the forward foot, twist from the waist, looking over the posterior shoulder, softening and breathing, noticing, breathing, smiling, arching, moving from within. Look down, try looking down a little, stretching out that side of your neck. Breathing in and breathing out. It is tempting to hold our breath when we hold a pose. So resist that. And then soften. And let's do the other side. So first of all, I'm going to turn around because it's a better view for those of you watching this at home. And come into staff pose again. So come into staff pose and roll back your shoulders. And before we go into the other side, this other side, the other leg, bring your hands back and roll back the shoulders, engaging the scapula. Bring the arms just a little bit away. Bring back your chin. Pull in the belly. Breathe. And notice. Release. Roll the shoulders. Bend the other knee. Bring that leg up close and put that foot on the outside of the extended leg. Bring that arm to the inside of that leg, and the other arm comes back. As you begin to look behind you, point the forward foot, same thing on this side. Gently move in, arch your back, lift your chin, moving mindfully. Find your edge, pull in the belly, and then settle in. Find that sweet spot that only you can find. I can try and get you there with my words, but if you're not there or you need to make some kind of a different adjustment, that's up to you. We need to watch what we're doing and accept where we are. And maybe you can't go as far on one side as you did on the other. Maybe one side is just more flexible. That's so normal. But then we accept that. And then we adjust for that before we can advance. And this is a practice. This is the time when we figure it out. So if we need to stop and come in or come out and go back in, that's what we do in a practice. I want to tell you something about the pandemic as we hold this pose. I've been taking other people's classes, and I notice that I am almost always, not always, but almost always at least one beat behind the instructor, especially coming out of a pose, because I move so gently and mindfully. And most of the instructors that classes I've taken are much younger than I am. And that's wonderful. It's wonderful to see them doing this practice at a younger age. Although I did start when I was in college. So, but at that time, yoga wasn't as prevalent as it is now. And so there's a lot more people getting the benefits of this in this Western society, now that it's been accepted and in the mainstream. Soften in place, let yourself move. Move gently like a cat, and then come back into the stretch. Point the forward foot, look behind you, arch your back. Move gently in, lift your chin, pull in the belly, find your edge and breathe. So many things. And so many good things happening in the collective that is our world right now. The energy is still really good. There's a lot of forces that want to shake us off our groundedness. But stay steadfast, everybody. It's not easy, but you can do it. You can do it. You are unique. And the world needs more neeks. Remember when people say, stay alert because the world needs more alerts. Okay, let's uncross and come back and move around and then fold in half, release to forward fold. Roll it up, vertebrae by vertebrae, and bend the knees. We're going to stand up now. So press up first to the table, and then press to a crouch, and gently, mindfully, with your head hanging, roll up, tucking the chin, pulling in the belly, thereby alleviating the dizziness you might have from being on the mat for a while as your head comes up and your shoulders roll back and you're breathing and you're in the mountain pose. So we were just in a reclining mountain. Now we're in a standing mountain. Look at your feet. Feet are forward. Legs are straight down from the hips. So make a little space between your feet. Roll back the shoulders and come into flat back. So we already did a variation of humble warrior while we were seated. We're going to do that again. So flat back, hands behind us, clasp your hands, lift the arms a little bit away from your back. Humble warrior. So now you can stay here in a 90-degree angle or approximately, or you can fold in half and let your hands come up toward the ceiling. Let the blood flow to your brain, stimulating your mental processes, keeping your mind subtle. It's important to have suppleness in spirit, mind, and body, to be able to open up to what is. Come back up nice and slow, letting the blood flow from your brain to your heart, and release and sway from side to side. Wiggle your fingers, wiggle your wrists, swaying from left to right, and then come to center, forward bend, elbows in, sit way back. Knees are above the feet here, and your behind is behind you, and this is very important. You do not want to lunge your knees. This is not a swan dive. You don't want to fly into it. Now, slide your hands down your legs, and with the knees bent, touch the mat, and then begin to lengthen the legs. Keeping 4 points on the floor is important for stability. So if you're able to lengthen your legs and keep the hands on the mat, that's wonderful. If you're able to straighten your legs, you're noticing that you're opening up in the sacrum. There's other benefits to this pose. So if you need to keep your knees bent, that's perfectly fine. You're still going to get other benefits. Or you can use a block, which could be in your house. It could be a book or a bolster, something that you just could have your hands on that's stationary. And so now, shake your head yes, stimulating the crystals in the back of your skull. And then tucking the chin, pulling the belly, slowly roll up, vertebrae by vertebrae. Tucking the chin, again, helps alleviate any dizziness, lightheadedness. Head comes up. Notice the blood flowing toward your heart. Roll back your shoulders. Mountain pose. Sweep up your arms into extended mountain, which we were on when we were lying down on our mats. Lift up the toes, widen the fingers, bring back the chin. Now plant your feet for stability. Gently look up and arch your back. Bring up your head and release. Nice and slow. And twist from side to side. Coming back to center. Shoulders roll back. Forward bend. Elbows in. Hands are soft, so we don't need our hands to be gripping anything right now. So let those muscles be soft. Bend the knees and sit way back. Knees are above the feet. Slide down to the mat and touch and lengthen and soften in to the forward bend. Notice the sacrum. Shake your head yes. Come to center. Grab your elbows. Sway from side to side, moving slowly. Coming back to center. Release. Tucking the chin, roll up, pull in the belly. Strengthening the core, alleviating lightheadedness if there's any. Head comes up, shoulders roll back. Sweep up. Lift up. Lift up the toes. Feel the length here. Bring back the chin. Plant your feet. Look up. Arch your back. So we plant our feet when we're going to lean back, if you're doing this part. And remember that all of this is your choice. Bring up your head. You can do part of any pose if it feels right. Release. Roll the shoulders. Anything that doesn't feel right, anything that hurts, don't do it. Don't do it. Bring your arms up. Lift up. Soften in and sway from side to side, warming up the obliques, moving and stretching and flexing the obliques. Body is in the frontal plane. So you're in posture, even when you're in this pose. As you're swaying, tilting at windmills, perhaps. Breathing. Lift up at center. Lengthen. Soften. And then lean one direction into crescent moon. Let that hand that you're leaning toward go down the side of that leg. And the other arm is either up overhead or wherever your shoulder feels okay. So that's an adjustment to make in this pose. Feel the flex in the side that's facing up. Notice your edge as you're crunching into it. Come back up slowly. Your body needs to unwind from these poses. Lift up. Soften. Lean the other direction. Slide into it, softening the shoulder that you're leaning into. Other arm is where the shoulder feels okay. And breathe. And smile and notice. Come back up. Lift up at center. Find it. Soften. Lean the other direction. Crescent moon again. Perhaps you'll find more flexibility the second time we do this. On both sides, which remember, everything bilateral, we do both sides. Whether one side is deeper and easier and more flexible than the other doesn't matter. We still need to keep everything moving as much as it's able to move. We need to keep ourselves supple, fluid, as much as possible. Come back up. Lift up. Soften. There's a rainbow outside. Oh my goodness. It's huge. It's coming down right in front of my house. Oh my God, I want to run outside. But now I got the dog all excited. Wow, it's dipped right into the lake. All right, sorry. Sorry for that rainbow that's right in front of my window. Lift up. Lift up. Well, not really sorry. I'm happy to see it. All right, other way. Other way. That is a good sign, everyone. A rainbow. Find your edge. What could be better than a rainbow during a rain? Because it's still raining. Come all the way back up. Lift up. This one has yellow and release, pink, and then a lavender. And the pink is just a really, really, I'm sorry, but I have to go look and see if it's a big arch. Just a minute, I'll be right back. Okay, for those of you that are on social media, you'll probably see pictures of this. I'm not, and I'm not going out to take a picture, but it's extraordinary. It's extraordinary. Let's step out now. I wish there was a rainbow pose. We got to make up a rainbow pose. If any of you have any ideas, send them to me. Zerler@sbcglobal.net. Email your suggestions for a rainbow pose. Okay, we're going into the tripod. Bend the knees and put your hands together in front of you on the mat. Let your head hang. Tripod. Walk both hands to the right foot. Left hand on the mat. Right arm up in the air. Look up. Look down. Right arm down. Walk back to center. Hands to the left foot. Right hand on the mat. Left arm up in the air. Look up. Look down. Left arm down. Walk back to center. Hands to the right. Left hand on the mat. Right arm up in the air. Look up. Look down. Right arm down. Walk back to center. To the left. Right hand on the mat. Left arm up in the air. Look up. Look down. Left arm down. Come to center. Last time. To the right. Left hand on the mat. Right arm up in the air. Look up. Look down. Right arm down. Come to center. To the left. Left arm up in the air. Look up. Look down. Left arm down. And slowly roll up, tucking the chin. Coming up nice and slow as you roll back your shoulders. And breathe. Lift up your arms. Look up and arch. Lean back. Think a grateful thought for rainbows and rain. Bring up your head and release. And let's step out to the 5-point star. Sweep out your arm. This is Happy Baby here. My short-haired border collie who is a yoga dog extraordinaire. Now the rainbow has some green on the side that had some yellow. There's pink, well, there's lavender, and then a big stripe of pink, and then yellow, and then green, and probably that's fading into a little bit of blue. Amazing. Intensify the 5-point star. Squeeze it. Notice it. Breathe into it. And know this, you are your own star this very minute. And they're up there, even though the sun is out and the rainbow is intensifying, there's still stars up in there, up in the sky somewhere. Soften, release, and then come back in for the warrior. Turn 1 foot away, swivel your hips in that direction, legs are straight. Bring the forward arm up, left arm down, or the other arm down the back of the other leg, whichever way you're going. Know that we're going to do the other side. Look up. Notice the neck flexion. Bring up your head. Bring your hands back to parallel and your arms back to parallel. Sink the forward knee for side angle pose, being sure you can see the top of your foot. Bring that forward arm on top of that leg and the other arm up overhead or wherever the shoulder feels good for side angle. Come back up, forward knee stays bent. Arms back to parallel, sink in. Sink in, like lower your hips. Bring both arms together in the front. Strong fists and pull, bring it back like you're shooting a bow and arrow, and then release. So there's lots of energy when we bring both arms together in the front, strong fists, and when we pull, lots of energy. And when we get by our mouth, we release gracefully, letting that arrow fly and sink. Again, both arms together in the front. Strong fists and pull, bring it back. Last time. Release that imaginary arrow. Hold it here. Both arms together in the front, palms facing each other. Lift your arms up overhead. Arch your back, look up. Bring up your head. Lower the arms and come back to center. Release and just move a little bit. Soften, come to center, come to the mountain, move in place. Shoulders roll back, sun is coming up. Step out again, 5-point star. Okay, move over just a little. Come into the 5-point star, soften, and then intensify everything below the neck. Chin is back. You are your own champion. You are your own best friend, your own star, and in this way, you can be someone else's champion and best friend. But you have to be your own champion and best friend first. Soften it up. Turn the other foot so it's pointing away. Sink the back heel. Legs are straight. Forward arm up. Other arm down the back of that leg. Look up. Bring up your head. Come back to parallel. Sink the forward knee. Side angle pose. Find it. Work it. Feel the obliques on the side that's facing up. Lengthening. And feel the other side crunching as you're holding it all together with the big muscles in your legs and your low core. Keeping the forward knee bent, come back up. Swivel toward the front, sink the hips, shoot the bow. Both arms together in the front, strong fists, and pull, bring it back. Slow, and then release, just like an archer. Hold it here. Again, both arms together in the front, strong fists, shoot the bow, bring it back. Slow, tension, and release. Hold. Again, both arms together in the front. Strong fists, shoot the bow, bring it back. Slowly. Release the tension and hold it here. Both arms together in the front, palms facing each other. Lift your arms up overhead. Look up, arch your back. Exalted warrior. Good time to say a prayer. Bring up your head. Lower the arms. Come back to center. And release. And step together and release a little more. Our time is nearly up, and so like Happy Baby, we are going into Shavasana. You can see that she is already there, as she does many times every day. But let me tell you something else about her as you come into rest pose. When I take her out and you're in rest pose, so stretch out, lay down, relax, and listen, or not. There'll be no quiz. But what she does is we go outside, and if I'm in a safe place like the beach, I let her run, and she runs. She runs her heart out and comes back and runs again. And when she comes back in the house, hopefully not. Okay, good, we didn't lose it. All right, coming back, that was my neighbor calling me to tell me about the rainbow, I'm sure. I'm sorry, come here, Happy. So it's a good lesson to learn. Come on and sit, honey. It's a good lesson to learn. We can learn this from animals. We can learn this from dormancy in plants. We can learn that we have a lot to do because we're humans. We do have a lot of work to do, don't we? Yeah, we have a lot of work to do. We have to feed our dog, we have to take them out, and we have to let them rest whenever they want to. Yeah. There she goes, back into Shavasana. So everybody, go out there, do your work with joy in your hearts, smile and notice. Notice the goodness because it's there. And as we close our practice, come into prayer pose wherever you are. And let's say together the word that is a Sanskrit word that does not mean lick my face. It means we are a soul connection with every single soul. We are a part of every other soul, every sentient being, the earth, the dirt, the rainbow. We're a part of this rainbow. Now, don't forget, everybody, before we close with Namaste, which is our word, if you have an idea for a rainbow yoga pose, I would love to incorporate it in my practice. So let's say together, Namaste. And on behalf of Happy Baby, Kathy Zerler, and Deborah Basham, have a wonderful day.